Hello, it's me, Gage, and today I'm going to be doing one of the biggest fights I've ever thought of. The two immortals of DC Comics. The creature that killed Superman, Doomsday, and the main man, Lobo. Now, I'm going to set a few ground rules right here. I'm using the strongest versions of these characters, so their best feats are the only things being taken into account, nothing of their weakest. I'm only using certain versions. I am using the pre-52 versions and the rebirth versions. I am leaving out both New 52 versions because the Lobo New 52 version wasn't even Lobo, that was some other guy. And with Doomsday New 52, that's very inconsistent, and the abilities he had in New 52 were not shown in Rebirth. But I will bring up New 52 Doomsday later on, in the third video. The first video will be talking about Lobo's abilities and feats, the second will be Doomsday's, and third will be talking about the winner. Anyway, let's get on to Lobo. First off is to talk about Lobo's skill in combat. Lobo is tough enough to fight Goldstar, a guy who is able to survive a planetary explosion, and Lobo was able to defeat him. That has to say something. Another very impressive person that Lobo has beaten was God, G-A-W-D. But don't let that deter you or the look of him. God is actually a deity that can warp all of reality, so he see. And he is extremely powerful. But Lobo killed both him and his brother, who are both reality warpers and easily able to erase matter or create matter, such as planets and other things. And yet Lobo was able to beat and kill them both. Lobo was able to fight Zatanna, the Enchantress, I think, John Constantine, and Dr. Fate all at the same time, without suffering many injuries. This, of course, stopped when Zatanna was able to put a spell on him afterwards to freeze him in place. Lobo was even able to defeat Martian Manhunter by knowing about his fear and weakness to fire, so he used an incendiary grenade to take care of him and then shoot him. And in Lobo's visit to heaven, he actually beat up and even killed some of the gods, like Poseidon, Athena, and many others, even Buddha, I believe. Lobo has also hooked the Flash, one of the fastest beings in the DC universe, by using his calculations. But anyway, enough about his fighting skill, let's go over his strength. Lobo is so strong that I'm sure you've heard of the old saying, crushing a coal into a diamond, correct? Well, Lobo did that and then some. He crushed an entire city into a small rock and then ate it. That is trillions of tons of steel, flesh, and concrete he compacted like it was nothing and ate it. That has to be very impressive to do. Green Lantern constructs also have a very hard time of holding Lobo back, and Hal Jordan has even said it would take everything in his power to hold Lobo back. Everything. Lobo has even broken out of Guy Gardner's holds, even saying that he has more willpower in one finger than Guy Gardner does in his entire body. Another great representation of his strength is when Lobo was tied up, and instead of breaking out and using brute force with his muscles to kill a guy that was talking bad about him, all he did was just spit, and the spit went right through his skull like a bullet. Now, Lobo's most impressive strength feat was when he hooked a being composed of stellar mass, and Lobo lacked leverage, and by the own creature's words, it's illogical that he could have moved him. There was no way he should be able to move him. Stellar mass means that you have the approximate mass of a star, I believe. So this would take a lot of force, even able to pull the sun, to move him. Well, Lobo did more than just that. He slammed the being all the way back down to the planet, and slammed it there and said the words, "I don't do logically." Now then, let's talk about Lobo's weaponry, something that everyone probably knows. Lobo has hand grenades that are able to destroy entire city blocks, equivalent to the power of a very small nuke, that he can carry on him at all times. Lobo also has bombs that are easily capable of destroying entire planets, including guns that can also do the exact same. Lobo has a very large arsenal of very destructive capabilities. Lobo also has several time travel devices that he has used over the years. One was when he attached a time travel belt to a bomb that he used to send a bomb back in time with a tracker to a guy, and the bomb ended up wiping out the dinosaurs as well as the guy. Now I know what you're thinking, why wouldn't this mess up the timeline? Well, because like Lobo said himself, he doesn't do logically. He can mess with time whenever he really pleases and it not affect anything. Lobo doesn't really have the same problem as, say, the Flash does. This was shown several other times when he went back and interfered with himself, and nothing changed. Lobo is a very odd character because he doesn't follow logic. I mean, this is a guy who's able to smoke cigars in outer space. Yeah, just that alone tells you this dude doesn't do logic. Now on to Lobo's regeneration, the thing he's very known for. Lobo is capable of regrowing his entire body out of a single drop of blood, easily within seconds. He has done this many times and has even regenerated from a skull in seconds. Lobo has even fought without his head before. Now then, a unique part of Lobo's regeneration is, should he not have anything to regenerate from, Lobo can actually use his soul to possess another body that will transform into a new body for him, regrowing his body from theoretically nothing. All he needs is his soul. So unless you can destroy his soul, Lobo's gonna keep coming back. Lobo is also durable enough to survive a black hole. That's right, Lobo has drove through a black hole before on his Space Hog and survived it. In fact, he stayed conscious throughout the entire time he went through. Yes, the gravitational force of it was turning him into any sort of thing thanks to its gravity, but he stayed conscious the whole time and survived it like it was nothing. Now then, let's talk about some speed feats that Lobo has. Now, the thing we have to talk about first, of course, is his Space Hog, his main mode of transportation. Now, the Space Hog is so fast that it is able to escape the gravitational force of a black hole. You can even survive it and get out. Now, black holes have such heavy gravitational force that not even light can escape it. This means the Space Hog must be able to go faster than light speeds in order to do this. Plus, Lobo has also shown this speed on the Space Hog many times before. Lobo also has exhibited many other great feats of speed, such as hooking Superman and throwing him into a building faster than Superman could react. And like I said, he's been able to hook the Flash thanks to his own reflexes, as well as demonstrated this with many other fights he's been in. Another thing is he's able to hit things that are intangible, like when he was a ghost, he was able to punch another and hurt it, despite the other ghosts thinking it was impossible for him to do so. Lobo is very powerful. And there's also some other things about Lobo that are very important. One thing is, if he has seen you before, he can track you anywhere in the galaxy. No matter where, even track you through other dimensions. Like one time, when somebody harmed a space dolphin and the space dolphin went to Lobo, the guy was in hell. So, Lobo knew and tracked down a portal to hell and went through it to go fight the guy. That's right, Lobo is so good at tracking that he was able to find portals into other dimensions, like heaven and hell, and be able to get there. So needless to say, if he knows where you are at a place, or even knows who you are, he can track you anywhere. It's why he's one of the galaxy's greatest trackers. Lobo has also survived getting thrown to the sun. Now, I know this looks like he's fighting Doomsday, but he's not. He's fighting the Devastator, a Batman mixed with Doomsday. We aren't counting that guy versus Lobo because that's Doomsday with actual intelligence, knowing how to fight him, because he probably has fought him in his universe. But anyway, we're looking at this feat. Now, in this feat, we don't get to see Lobo show up after, so how do we know he survived? Well, the official writer of the comic confirmed to me that he did not kill off Lobo by doing this, meaning that Lobo has survived the sun. This isn't the only time Lobo's done this. He has survived the sun and Injustice, and in one fight with Superman, when Superman was using his heat vision, Lobo said the cold of space doesn't affect him, and neither does the center of a sun. So Lobo is willing to withstand and able to withstand that kind of heat. Lobo is also able to find the weak spot of any opponent, even if he's encased in concrete. So if he's fighting you, he already knows your weak spot. But yes, due to Lobo's extreme abilities, the fact that logic doesn't really work for him, his immense strength, his great durability at times as well, his great reaction speeds, and, well, everything else about him makes Lobo one of the most deadly characters in DC. You don't mess with the main man.